Notepad. Black Lives Matter and Demon Worship by Ayala Nunez. After careful research, I have found that the very founders of this organization are deeply ingrained within the very act of practicing demon worship. And this is very important to know, for many people are being led astray to their own slaughter, and possibly the forever selling of their souls to evil and demonic entities. It is also important to note the following analogy: demon possession is equivalent to parasitic infection. As I had mentioned previously from past posts, my remote viewing sessions have led me to the observation that much of what we have witnessed from the likes derived from the rhetoric and behavior displayed from BLM is most certainly the characteristic of demon possession, thus parasitic infection. And this is most likely the case. Let's start by listing the very founders of this cultish sect. They are Melina Abdullah, Alicia Garza, Patrice Cullors, and Abdul Tamedi. More specifically, they practice the West African belief system of Odu Ifa divination. There are 16 chapters to this organization, whereby each chapter is designated a specific demon and for which each demon is called upon to embody, not only the very leaders of this organization, but also the very people who blindly support this organization. The founders are additionally primary members of Sigma Pi Phi, which is essentially an order of the Ghoul Society. This society is also a secret society, itself, which only possesses one agenda: to protect the overall ranking Luciferian order. That's it. It has nothing to do with standing up for the black community, nor truly representing any act in support of black equality nor anti-systemic racism. The thing about it is that the majority of its members, Black Lives Matter, think and feel that they are doing some type of justice for the black community and its movement for anti-racism and equality. But this is really the wrong movement for their cause, for this Ghoul Society, as organized by the Illuminati, if you want to call it that, is essentially weaponizing the black community to complete one particular agenda and only agenda alone, as previously stated, to protect and perform the bidding of their master, Lucifer. And I depict the name of the fallen one with lowercase letters for a reason, of course. Once more, the black community is being enslaved to do the bidding of a cause under the flag of Satan himself. Many followers do not know this. They also riot and protest under the name of a communistic utopia. And I am not attempting to be a Bible-thumping fearmonger either. I am not exaggerating, by the least bit. This is the purity of its power structure, at its best. And to go even further into the meaning of this organization, the acronym BLM holds a double meaning and hypocrisy as it symbolizes, first of all, the name Black Lives Matter, which, once more, does not possess the main agenda to uphold any black life as the main priority, but rather maintains its ultimate intention to uphold its allegiance to Satan, from amongst the hierarchy of demons they worship and assume within their body and in the spirit when they protest and riot when engaging in spiritual warfare. The other meaning in representation to BLM is Baphomet, Lucifer, and Moloch, which all contributes to the Luciferian equation of spiritual warfare indeed. Baphomet is the symbolic image of a Gnostic goat head, commonly transfigured within a pentagram image. Ultimately, this inverted symbolic setup represents destruction. Lucifer is Satan, himself, and Moloch, also Molech, Moloch, Milcom, or Malcham, is the biblical name of a Canaanite god associated with child sacrifice. So, with all of that said, you truly have to question the very integrity of any individual, organization, or entity who or which supports and endorses such an organization. Can we mention the likes of the NBA, MLB, or even the NFL, just to name a few? The kneeling has to stop, the mask wearing has to stop, the mind manipulation has to stop, the evil stops. Now in many ways, we must know who or what the enemy is in all of its entirety. When we are to determine that such an enemy resides from amidst a hidden and unseen abyss, we are to know that we are battling within the spiritual realms. And when we are to ultimately do so in determining the playing grounds of that warfare, then we must also know how to pray with the very words of God and either approach and in protection. The God of this age has blinded the minds of unbelievers, so that they cannot see the light of the gospel that displays the glory of Christ, who is the image of God. 2 Corinthians 4:4, NIV. For though we live in the world, we do not wage war as the world does. The weapons we fight with are not the weapons of the world. On the contrary, they have divine power to demolish strongholds. We demolish arguments and every pretension that sets itself up against the knowledge of God, and we take captive every thought to make it obedient to Christ. 2 Corinthians 10:3-5, NIV. He who dwells in the shelter of the Most High will rest in the shadow of the Almighty. I will say of the Lord, He is my refuge and my fortress, my God, in whom I trust. Surely He will save you from the fowler's snare and from the deadly pestilence. Psalm 91. Finally, be strong in the Lord and in His mighty power. Put on the full armor of God, so that you can take your stand against the devil's schemes. For our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the powers of this dark world and against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms. Therefore put on the full armor of God, so that when the day of evil comes, you may be able to stand your ground, and after you have done everything, to stand firm then, with the belt of truth buckled around your waist, with the breastplate of righteousness in place, and with your feet fitted with the readiness that comes from the gospel of peace. In addition to all this, take up the shield of faith, with which you can extinguish all the flaming arrows of the evil one. Take the helmet of salvation and the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of God, and pray in the Spirit on all occasions with all kinds of prayers and requests. With this in mind, be alert, and always keep on praying for all the Lord's people. Ephesians 6:10-18, NIV. How to pray through spiritual warfare, https://www.cru.org/us/n/blog/spiritual growth/prayer/spiritual warfare prayer.html. The armor of God, https://www.cru.org/us/n/train and grow/spiritual growth/armor of God.html. IFA divination, demons, and spiritual warfare, https://www.onechurchone-day.org/blog/Black Lives Matter. IFA demons, spiritual war about the author, Ayala Nunez, is a registered nurse, specializing in behavioral health and substance abuse recovery, and is a proud veteran of the United States Air Force, Operation Desert Storm/Desert Shield. Ayala is also a conceptual quantum mechanic, a podcaster, author, an alternative thinker, controversial theorist, prolific writer, and blogger, and a proponent for ancient archaeology and parallel reality research. Additionally, Ayala is the host of many podcast radio talk shows, including Quantum Mindfulness Radio 2.0 and the QAnon Chronicles, Behind the Global Reset. Ayala Nunez is the executive producer and founder of a prominent podcast radio network, created in 2015, called Real Revolution Radio X.O, the number one source for motivational author interviews, intuitive blog, and inspirational podcast radio on demand. Within the world of awakening, Ayala is also known for writing his quite jarring, but well-researched red pill blog article entitled Nesra and the Global Reset, which explains much of what had occurred behind the scenes in 2020, a truly unforgettable year of truth, clarity, and revelation. After experiencing a year of unparalleled coincidences and such profound synchronicity, many will reflect to look back and ask upon that question in a post-apocalyptic world, what really happened in 2020? We begin the screen capture.